Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is our first video. You might be asking yourselves, what are we going to be doing? Well, I'm going to start off by introducing myself. Hello, my name is Ryan. I have lymphedema, and the whole point of this channel is for me to, I don't know, kind of motivate myself to want to get up and do things like walk and jog and cycle and stuff, and this is the start of that. So we're here. I know the signage isn't really good, and it's funny because they don't actually tell you what this place is. So this is Merchant Mill Pond State Park. We are up here at the big parking spot, and we're going to walk this solid trail, and this is also the bike path. Now, where's it at? Okay, there it is. Solid red line is the easy route. So we're going to do the easy route today because this is me starting up for the first time, and I didn't want to get too far into something and hurt myself, or I didn't want to give anybody the wrong idea about trying to get out there and go 15 miles on their first try. I'll start by saying I'm kind of not in the worst shape in the world. I'm a little pudgy, but I'm 5'10", about 212 pounds, so not crazy huge, but definitely a little bit chunky. I got a good midsection. So what I'm hoping to do with this is, like I said, I'm hoping to motivate myself to want to commit to doing this every single day. And then I want to try to make my quality of life improve. And what I'm hoping, and we're doing this video here, but what I'm hoping is that I can turn this into daily live streams. I would like to be able to build something of a small community of friends and potential family that we can get together every morning, try and build each other up, try and make stuff happen that are good, or make good things happen for each other, you know. Motivation's a hell of a thing, and one thing that's happened to me this whole time with all of this cancer stuff is the isolation. I sit at home a lot through this stuff, and I've got friends, but they all work. They all have stuff they do during the day, so it's kind of hard for me to just kind of sit around and not do anything. And I mean, I have another YouTube channel that I dabble with car stuff. It's very boring. It's very low energy. There's not a lot of really good stuff that happens during it, but it's something that I really enjoy to do when the mood strikes me. And so I kind of thought, why not go ahead and bring people along for different nature walks? So that's what we're doing, you know. So I just Thursday, I believe it was, got diagnosed with lymphedema. A year ago, I had a right thigh lymphedectomy. And that's, if you don't know what that is, that's where they remove the lymph node from that position. Basically, I had a melanoma tumor growing in the back of my right calf. And it had spread because I was dumb and didn't go to the doctor when it popped up like I should have. I was young and very stupid, and quite honestly just kind of thought I was invincible. There's no way to put it. I was just dumb. The thing about it is, once we got it in there and got it done, they told me, hey, might be 6 months, might be a year, might be 16 years, might be the rest of your life, but you're very likely going to end up having issues with lymphedema. And I was like, okay, no problem. Well, leading up to the last Thursday, I ended up noticing some swelling in my thigh. Things were kind of jiggly and felt real watery. And so I ended up going to the care clinic through my oncologist department that I go to, and that's where they told me, you are officially suffering from the effects of lymphedema. And it's like, okay. So Saturday, My wife went to get me a compression sleeve for my leg. I was feeling pretty bad. I'll be honest. The emotional stress of this stuff is pretty damn heavy on the average day, and it's not really the fact that I've got the illness itself. It's the fact that I'm kind of afraid of a lot of things when it comes to health and medical stuff, and the irony is pretty thick when you think about it. To be afraid of the stuff that's supposed to save your life is kind of, it's kind of unfair. But the whole point of it is, I get to a point in my head where I'm thinking about the long-term effects of this stuff, and I start to freak myself out. And I imagine myself having horrific swelling and not being able to move and just being miserable and essentially being couch locked or something. And I really don't want to do that. And I have no interest in it. And so now that I've got the compression and I've got some motivation to try and do anything with myself, that's where we're at now. We are going to walk as much as we can each morning. Not to a point to where we hurt ourselves. I'm keeping a nice steady pace. There's no need in trying to cram in a marathon's worth of walking on your first day. Now, this isn't my first day walking. I've been walking probably a couple of weeks already. So I've got a little bit of stamina built up. I can go for a handful of miles at a time without too much issue. The big thing is, when you're trying to walk for lymphedema or do any exercise, you don't want to overdo it. Overdoing things is just as dangerous as not doing anything at all. There's a lot of this stuff where it's a combination of the compression and the exercise that makes this a viable therapy, a viable treatment for what we got going on. So the way this works is, the normal person, the average person, when you simply walk around and you use your calf muscles act like little pumping stations that move the lymphatic fluids from those limbs northward to your torso. And eventually it all gets processed out by your kidneys, liver, and all the other different pathways that it could go through. But the point is, if you go ham, you can actually cause yourself a flare-up where the lymphatic fluid will build up because you're exerting yourself so much. The actual, I forget what it is. I'm not a health guy, but I know there's some kind of, lactic acid or something like that builds up in the muscles as you use them and do certain things. Well, it's kind of like that. The more you exert yourself, the more waste all of your cells are going to produce. So it's a balancing act. You have to get a good walk, something that's comfortable to you. Now, most experts will tell you, start off simple. Go outside, walk for 10 or 15 minutes. Does not have to be a brisk pace. You can walk for, a half of a mile if you want to. What it is it's a matter of getting those muscles moving again. It's getting that fluid to a part of the body that can do something with it. The thing is, if you're already starting out swollen like I did, and I wasn't massively swollen up, my left thigh, which is healthy and normal, is 25 inches in the center, in the mid-thigh, and my right thigh, at its most swollen, was 27 inches in the middle. So we're not talking about an extreme ratio of swelling by any means. It was enough for me to notice it very quickly, but it wasn't that bad. So there are people out there that have 5, 6, 10, 12-inch differences between limbs at times. Of course, this is all subject to what limb we're talking about. With the thigh, you stand a lot. So gravity naturally wants to make a lot of that fluid pool in the legs. And same for your hands and arms. If you lose lymph nodes underneath of your armpits and stuff, you have to do very similar things where you wear compression sleeves and go through that stuff. But the idea, like I said, is moderation. If you can do 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, whatever your pace is, it doesn't matter. The idea is to have those muscles in your leg moving at all. Get that nice, calm, smooth pace going. Hell, if you can just walk around your house, like the outside of your house. Just go down the stairs, hook a right or a left, and walk around, and then go back in the house when you complete that circuit. If you did that 2, 3, 4 times a day, or as many times as you could stand it, before you know it, you'd recognize that, oh shit, man, I can actually walk around the house twice now, and it only feels as bad as when I was doing it once. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm catching mine really early, and I'm trying to be proactive, but I struggle sometimes with doing things for myself because of the depression. You know, you get stuck in that rut where at first it starts out, why me, always me, and then it kind of morphs into acceptance of, you know, a give up, so to speak. You just let go, and what it's going to be is what it's going to be. Like I said, that scares me. So I am motivated to get up and walk around, but I'm using these videos and hopefully moving into live streams eventually as an opportunity to not just continue to motivate myself, because there's going to be days where this stuff's hard. There's going to be days where it's raining. There's going to be days where it's storming. Like this morning, I almost didn't do it this morning because it was colder than I felt like dealing with. But I also at the same time was like, you know, if I go out there and I start walking and I get into it, there's not really much of a reason why I won't really get into it, you know? So now we're already an eighth of a mile down the road. I feel pretty good. I'm already getting kind of warm, which, whatever. I'll slow down a little bit, I guess, if I need to. I'll split my jacket open a touch, let that air out just a little bit. But, you know, the long and short of it is, I'm terrified of this stuff, and I don't want to live my life suffering because of it. And so I'm going to do what I can to do these videos for myself and for anybody that needs a little bit of motivation themselves. Look, think of it like this. Anytime you've gone to do something by yourself and you've always thought to yourself, man, it'd be really good if somebody was in the background chatting with me. Like, not even necessarily helping you move the couch, but just over there being like, hey, you know, Bob, this is a nice couch. You should definitely put it on the other side of the living room. You know, it's many hands makes light work, but camaraderie is what makes the day go by. The ability to interact with people so that you're not so isolated. Like I mentioned, that isolation's a hell of a thing, and being alone all the time and being stuck with your thoughts is debilitating at times. There are moments where, and I'm not trying to be depressing, but, you know, it is depression, but there's moments where I feel like this stuff's genuinely hopeless and there's nothing I can do to fix it, and there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do to fix it. So I get to these states where I'm stuck in my own head, I'm freaking out, I'm basically having an anxiety attack, and all it makes me want to do is exit stage left. And I'm married. I've got people that care about me. I don't want to do anything stupid. I don't want to be dumb. I don't want to hurt myself. So we've made it to the first sign. This is Merchant Mill Pond State Park. So we're here. That's where we came from. So we've not made it super far, but we still have, I don't know, 3/4 of the way to go, and this will loop back around. And the dashed line right there means bicycle trail. So that's not really an indication of difficulty or anything. What are the red bicycle trail? Okay, so at least they've got easy. That's not bad, right? All right, let's keep on trucking. So, anyway, with how debilitating everything can tend to be at times, I do get to that point where exiting stage left becomes a real thought process, and that's what I'm here to try and get away from. I want my physical health to be better, and so the walking is going to help that, but I think the YouTube thing is more for my mental health, because you guys can already tell, whoever's watching this, I'm just sitting here chatting, right? I'm talking to myself and I'm walking. This is almost like a vent session, all in itself. I could probably not upload this, and I'd probably feel pretty good about it. You know, I'd feel better that I got to talk out loud, and, you know, this just gives me an excuse to make talking to myself look normal, right? Right? It's a man-made object. I actually don't know, like, obviously that's some kind of stone ring anchor something, but I wonder if that's for a cone or for a pole or whatever. Also, apologies for the wind noise. There's not really a whole lot I can do about the wind noise. Kind of just is what it is. Part of the nature. But, you know, when I get to those moments, I get into it and I start really spiraling. And so I don't want anybody else to spiral. I don't want anybody else to struggle with this. What I'm hoping is that we can get to this point where we're doing these daily live streams. We get a group of friends and family that we've built, and then we just work on trying to keep each other motivated to stay as healthy as we can so that we can try to improve the quality of our lives. I'm a big stickler about the quality of life. I don't need to be rich. I'm not rich. I don't need to be super well fed with 5-star meals. I don't need any of that. I just need basics. You know, I don't want to hurt all the time. I don't want to feel bad all the time. I don't want to be going through a bunch of dumb stuff all the time. And I know that's the basis. That's the basis for why anybody really tries to do anything, right? Like, everybody wants to have a good life. Everybody wants to have an easy life. Well, we all already know life's not easy. I mean, it's easy for some, and it's easier for some than others, not necessarily easiest. But when you get down to it, when you get into a small community where everybody can kind of rely on seeing each other, it can kind of be the building block of the morning where it's like you wake up, life sucks. Live stream hits, everybody gets together, you get to chat and have some good time, you get to vent a little bit, you get to go in and, you know, without much judgment. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. I can tend to be kind of mean, and I can say some pretty mean things really, really fast, like off the cuff. I'm not worried too much about trolls. You guys, if you happen to watch this video, you're welcome to stop into the chat, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to do this in a capacity where more than just me benefits from it. You know, motivation's a hell of a thing, just like I've already said, and when you lose motivation to do anything, it becomes almost impossible. Something as simple as just getting off the couch or the chair to go to the bathroom just becomes this insane struggle where it feels like your limbs are weighted down with 200 pounds of concrete each. And, you know, it's a real consuming, just suffocating kind of mindset, place to be. You know, it's like drowning, but somehow you still manage to get just enough air to not actually drown. And I guess it'd be more like being waterboarded. But the point is, I have my own fears about this, and I know if I'm scared of something, there's definitely other people in there that are struggling with it just the same. There's probably people out there that are having anxiety and panic attacks over their stuff right now. And that's who I want to be here for. I want to be here for that. You know, I've had a really decent time and had good luck with the structures around me and my life, my wife, my friends, the people I care about, the ones that mean something to me. I don't know that I'd ever gone this far. I'll be honest, I don't even know that I would have gone and gotten diagnosed when I found my swollen lymph nodes, you know, last year. I don't think I'd have cared. I would have just been like, well, that's going to be me. And it would have been. But, you know, I'm here because I may I may not see things the way someone else sees them, but what I do see is I see the fact that the people in my life took the time to tie themselves to me in any of the ways that they have. And that connection means a lot to me. And I'm sure it would to anyone. But like I was saying when we started the video, you get to a point to where people have to have their own lives. My two best friends, it's my buddy Morgan and my buddy Tristan. They're both excellent friends. Do anything for you. And of course, I'd do anything for them that I could or needed. But the thing is, Tristan's got 3 kids, 1 on the way, and works a full-time job Monday through Sunday, every other weekend. And Monday through Friday, no matter what, every week. He travels for work. He goes out of town. He goes all kinds of places. He doesn't have the time to come through and babysit me and make sure that I'm okay. No, that's not, and I wouldn't want to be that big of a drag on him. Like, it's bad enough that I have to give him the bad news when I get my bad news. Because I see it in his face. He's like, man, I don't want my fucking best friend to die. I don't want to die, but like, obviously I can't do anything about it but fight as hard as I can. You know? The crazy thing about cancer is that I can't fight it. I mean, I can, in the sense that, like, I can go to the doctor's office. I can let them give me the medications. I can accept the care. But it's not something that I can punch in the face. It's not something that I can, slap across the mouth. It's like, this is a thing that doesn't care that I could hurt it if it was a sentient being, because it's not a sentient being. It's just a disease. It's a parasite. And it's the craziest thing in the world to think about, trying to fight something, trying to be strong. But it's like, what do? Do I sit there and flex and scream like I'm Goku from fucking Dragon Ball Z? No, of course not. Now, of course, shout out to Dragon Ball Z because I love Dragon Ball Z. But my point is, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. My point is, there's nothing I can literally do outside of what I'm told to do and accepting these medications that could do anything for me. And if I don't accept those medications, that's my only real recourse. And that's me feeling like I'm fucking dying or something. And that's not good. We all get to these points where, life seems pretty tough. And it is. It's tough for everybody. But it's the little bit of togetherness that we need to focus on so that we can try and build each other up. And you can't have a house with one brick. And you can't have a community with one person. So, I have all these thoughts and dreams and aspirations and everything that I want to get done in my life that have nothing to do with being sick. And now all of a sudden, I'm just sick. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I really feel kind of stuck with it some days. And so that's another one of my motivators, because I'm sure if I'm feeling this, there's 8 billion people on the planet, 7 billion people on the planet. I know someone else out there is feeling this. And you guys and girls and I guess everything in between, if you're just a human and you're sick and it scares you, come hang out with me when I finally get these live streams going. Come be a part of a group where nobody's talking shit to anybody about who they are, what they believe in, or what they like. Like, come be a part of us just kind of trying to make our own lives better. Make each other's lives better. It's one of those things where, I possess the ability to be a real asshole. And I'm regularly a real asshole. But this is my attempt, I guess, to kind of try and be a better person. To try and take all the negativity that I usually fester on and perpetuate back into the world. This is like my attempt to stop that. Because the more I sit on the internet and the more things I see and the shit that people do, and I just don't understand it. And I don't relate to any of it. I guess I've reached that old man point in my life where, I haven't kept up with the kids, right? So I don't know what the top things to do are. I don't know who's into what. I don't know. Shit, I don't even know what music artists are playing on the damn radio. I have no clue. All I really know is that I get confused when I see some of the stuff that happens because I just genuinely don't understand the motivation behind it. It just doesn't, it doesn't make that much sense. I think I'm going to have to stop and reshift my stuff. I feel like my calf's getting a little tight, so we might have overdone it already. It's hard to tell with the compression on. Trying to feel maybe I can tell like a difference in fluid, or maybe there's a difference in the squeeze, but everything feels... Okay, we're turning around. And this right here, we got 26 minutes in. That's more than I would have gotten any other day. Watch, this thing's probably just sliding down, and I'm freaking out over it sliding down because it's changing the sensations in my leg. I keep having to pick this compression sleeve up, which it wasn't as much of a problem yesterday when I was dealing with shorts, but I guess today with the jogging pants on, it's a bit more of a stretch. Man, I'm here to tell you, you can't really see it in the camera, but all the way down there is the right-hander to get back out of here. We're gonna walk a little slower. Anyway, my whole point was, I'm starting this channel up, for one, because I want to do stuff for me. And for two, I want to try to see if maybe we can, just help each other out. People need people. I'm a people person. And so me not having anybody to really interact with, me not having anybody to get down with and have fun with and talk to, and it puts an incredible strain on the mind. And I don't want to overdo anything. That's why we've turned around. But I don't want anybody else to overdo anything. I want us to be a slick group of people who are focused on the betterment for our fellow men and women. We are social creatures. That's how social media has managed to infect our lives as deeply as it has, where we got a lot of stuff that we do as man, and isolating one another is something that we're all really good at. And letting people sit in that isolation is something that we're really good at. So, in my mind, kind of like other channels that I follow where they have good communities of people that come through, I kind of want the same thing. I kind of want to give everybody their own space for this particular type of thing. I'm not trying to be physically fit, although if I do happen to manage to lose some weight with this stuff, then absolutely, I'm gonna be stoked on it. But you start thinking about this stuff, and it starts getting you down. Just think about the chat. Think about everybody that we're gonna have, bouncing back and forth, and all these different folks that have the same issues, that all need their own little bit of fucking motivation. Like, we're gonna get this done. I know it's easy to get lost in the sauce. Life is a pretty suffocating thing when you let it lay on you like it does, like it likes to try to do. So don't let it lay on you. Come walk with me. Come chat with me. Give yourself something of a distraction for a couple of minutes. you can see I'm not perfect. I set out to do a fucking like an 8-mile hike, and we got a mile into it, and I can feel a tightness in the back of my calf. And it's like, okay, well, I definitely need to not push that, because if I cause myself a bunch of swelling, then it's going to defeat every walk that I've done up to this. It's going to defeat every bit of progress and effort I've put into it. And that's the key thing. I don't want to give up on any of this stuff. I don't want to freak out and lose my mind or anything. I don't want to do that. And so I know you don't want to do that. So come be a part of this. You know, subscribe, hit the like button, leave your name down below. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you've got going on. Share it with me. Let me talk to you. Now, I know that this isn't a live stream, so I can't sit here and, you know, respond immediately to anybody's questions or comments or anything like that. But damn, I can respond to as many comments as what get left on the video. And like I said, YouTube wants us to have 50 subscribers before we get to do live streams. And so that means I've got a couple of weeks to get stuff together and build up this little bit of a following, get my stamina up so that we can manage to make these walks happen a lot nicer. It's a hell of a thing to be scared of something so badly that you almost don't ever want to stop walking again for the rest of your life. It's wild. I'd also like to point out, I think today's the 2nd, March 2nd. It's a Monday. I'm probably only going to be able to do this for the next 7 or 8 days, because on the 10th, I'm going into surgery to have some more melanoma removed from the same leg. So I guess the part that I haven't talked about yet is the part where my original melanoma treatments didn't work. The Keytruda immunotherapy didn't work. By the time I was done with it, I had like 8 tumors that were all growing in, and growing in fast. That's where the bike trail splits off. That's where we came from. So if you hang that right, it'll do that giant loop. So we got pretty far into that loop before we started having any kind of leg issue. And of course, we're walking a little slower now, so hopefully we'll be able to mitigate some of it. But anyway, my melanoma came back pretty well in full force. I have tumors that are popping up in the inside of the lymphedectomy scar. I have a tumor popping up inside of the original calf scar where they cut that one out. I have probably 13 to 15 other small tumors that are all starting to pop in along the inside, underside of my thigh. And so I'm currently on a combo medication, prolimzumab, or whatever the hell it is, and some kind of Ipinevo or something like that. Apparently it's really nasty stuff. They really don't like to give it to people unless they absolutely have to. But what's funny is I've already gone through 1 treatment session of that, and I have not noticed anything reducing or lightening in color, because if you don't know about immunotherapy, it's different from chemotherapy. Chemotherapy, the chemo medication itself is a poison. And it goes in and it destroys everything. It'll kill the cancer just as well as killing stuff that's not cancer. So good cells and bad cells. Immunotherapy is what they consider a targeted therapy, where instead of just pumping the chemo in upstream of the cancer and letting it flow across it, they're pumping it into me, and basically what that medication does is it goes inside of my body and it strips the proteins off of the cancer that allow it to hide from my immune system. So it's kind of like pulling the wool off of somebody's eyes. You go from being in a black space all nice and protected, and next thing you know, wham, you are looking at everything in the world and it's all looking back at you. So that's the goal of immunotherapy. It is to reveal the cancer to your body so that your body can fight it off on its own. Keytruda is normally pretty damn effective. Most I'd say most all, like 90% of the people that get put on Keytruda, they have really good responses to it. They end up with full remission, you know, no cancer cells anywhere, no elevated blood levels or anything. But not for me. Turns out my melanoma is actually hereditary. So it is incredibly aggressive. It's something that it's basically just been waiting to rear its ugly face the entire time I've been alive. This could have happened when I was 8. This could have happened when I was 20. Unfortunately, it happened around 28. And I'm 36 now. So I sat with that tumor in the back of my leg for a long time and didn't even think that it might have been a cancer. I had no... After a while, I realized it was probably pretty gross, but I had gotten so used to just daily putting a Band-Aid over it and getting on with my life that it was what it was. But I got out of the shower one day and I was toweling myself off, and then all of a sudden I feel this really awful soreness in my lymph nodes on that right side, and swollen and just huge. I could see the swell through my skin, through my groin. It was awful. And that was what started it. I figured, I was like, you know, that's probably not good. And so I talked to my wife and I told her, I was like, hey, I really think we need to start looking into a doctor. And October of 23, I went to the dermatologist and they looked at the original tumor and cut it out and sent it off for biopsy. And not even a week later, they came back that it was melanoma. And not just that, but it was the most aggressive category of melanoma. So that at least explains why it has grown back so quickly. There's not really much I can do but keep going to the different doctor's appointments and stuff. But basically what the surgery is going to do is the surgery is going to superficially remove all of the tumors that we see so that we don't have the bulk that we're looking at. So that when the medications, when they switch me to different medications, they're going to hopefully have removed enough of it so that those medications will work very quickly. They'll just knock it out and we'll be in good shape before you know it. The next medications after tomorrow's treatment are actually going to change. They're going to go from being an IV infusion to hopefully an oral supplement. Because I resisted the treatments, they decided to go ahead and do a series of mutation tests. And basically, there's a handful of different variants of melanoma types. There's different varying levels of aggression. So mine is the most aggressive. And mine also has what's called the BRAF mutation, which sounds bad, but honestly, it's not. It opens up a list, a nice, much larger list of effective treatment paths that I could potentially go through. And that's where switching to the oral medications will honestly, hopefully help my mental health a little bit, because every time I have to go and sit in the chair for an IV, oh my God, I'm sitting there racing through my mind that needle is going to shoot out of my arm and I'm going to bleed out in seconds. And now I tell you, it's the most ridiculous thing to be afraid of healthcare, because yeah, nobody likes getting blood drawn. Nobody really likes getting shots or taking needles or anything, but Jesus Christ, I'm here to tell you, it is some of the worst things in the world to just panic, but have to sit there, have to let them stab you, have to let them do what they're going to do. I'm going to tell you, shortly after my original lymphedectomy, I started to develop an infection in my thigh, and I'm very observant, and I'm very, very aware and alert to my body. After all of this stuff, my fear kind of won't let me let it go. That's why this walking stuff was such an idea for me, because it's like, you know, if walking is what does it to help move all these fluids up and down and get where they need to go and blah, 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 that's cool. I'm going to do that. But then, you know, of course, I start taking it to extremes where it's like all of a sudden, oh, my calf's tight. Oh, my thigh's tight. Oh, this is... Now, my thigh's not actually tight. And I'm pretty sure my calf muscle, it's not tight because of swelling. It's probably tight because I've walked so much the last 5 days. I've probably put... Let's see, yesterday I was playing some Pokemon Go, and I managed to hatch 5 2-kilometer eggs. And if you know anything about a kilometer, 1 kilometer is a little more, or a little less than, right around, well, a little more than a kilometer is right around half a mile. So if you're doing 2 kilometers, you're doing almost a mile. So if I hatched 5 2K eggs, I very likely walked about 5 miles. And then I did that the day before. I did that the day before that, and I've been doing it basically since last Monday. Maybe it was Tuesday, but this was the day where I was going to attempt to start up the new channel and do the live stream thing, because like I said, this is important, and people need motivation. People need to know that they're not alone and that they have people to talk to. No, I'm not your 24-hour therapist, but for the couple of hours that I'm in that live and I'm trying to walk around and do things, I'm an open book. Talk to me about me, talk to me about you. I'm cool either way. There's not a lot to this, you know, it's just walking and talking. So I'm open for good conversation. I want to know about you. I want to know about your family. I want to know who you are, you know. If you don't have any friends in the world, come be my friend. Let me know that you existed. Let me learn about you. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. I know it sounds stupid and generic, and most people are probably like, oh yeah, this guy's probably just some super douche. No, like, yes, I'm a douche, but I'm a douche for different reasons. This is me trying to change myself. This is me trying to do better for me, but also maybe for others too. You know, I used to yell at my wife all the time. I used to fight and argue about dumb stuff that she didn't even have any interest in. She had no opinion on. I used to be a real asshole. But as I've gotten older, I've tried harder and harder and harder to curb my attitude, curb my anger, curb my outbursts. Just try to not be so freaking angry all the time. But sometimes I'm human. Sometimes I see something and it sets my adrenaline to the maximum, and before you know it, I am off of the deep end. And I am yelling and I'm screaming. I'll punch the wall. I'll throw shit. I'll break stuff. And it doesn't do any good for anybody. And all it does is stress Amanda out for no fucking reason. Stresses the people I'm yelling at for no fucking reason. So, just like I'm trying to be a better person everywhere else, I'm trying to, you know, be a better person here. And maybe let this little bit of motivation get people places. So I'll go ahead and say it. I'm a much different person when I'm by myself than what I am with people. So when I get with people, I'm a true extrovert. I gain energy. I gather energy by being around people. And to give you an example, a couple of friends of mine, a YouTube channel called Never Done Projects. It's my buddy Randy and Randy, his dad and his son. They do live streams, and I'm in there as often as I can be. But watching the community that they've built up, being a part of the friend group over there, it makes me feel good. Because at the end of the night, if I don't have anything to do, or if I'm sitting there freaking out or panicking, I can go join the live chat, and I can get to be a part of it. And that's where I want to do that for someone else, you know, for other people. They give whoever wants to stop through and have good conversation nothing but open arm and welcome invitations. I want to do the same thing. I don't care if you're sick. You don't have to be sick to come and join these chats. Like, that's not, like, I'm not trying to have this be the Freaks Power Hour or anything. That's not, although it could be. I'm not really opposed to that either. I'm at the point where I feel very alone in a lot of the things that I do, and I don't like it. And, you know, I feel like I'm a part of a group when I go into their live chats. And so I feel like, other people could feel like part of the group if you guys come into my live chats. So if you liked this video, if you enjoyed the nature walk, please subscribe. Help me hit that 50 subscriber mark. If we can hit 50 subscribers before the end of the day, shoo, boy, I'd be able to live stream tomorrow morning and every morning forward. I mean, of course, I'm going to have to take some recovery time once I have my surgery. So maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks of me being down and shuffling around slowly, I'll be able to get more on top of some of this stuff and stay more active. It's just, I don't want to be alone, so I don't want other people being alone. I'm not going to say that I won't monetize this because, of course, if I get the opportunity to turn our conversations into sucking a little bit of the money off of fucking YouTube's bank account, I'm going to do that, because what will hopefully happen is if we get this community built up and I manage to even make $100 a month off of YouTube, that's $100 that I can put in the gas tank for us to go somewhere new. That's $100 for us to be able to ride around and go see different places. Like, I'd like to be able to reinvest some of that money back into this channel, soup my bike up a little bit, make it a bit more realistic to go out places and do things and try to really bring the world to the people that can't go out to it, And that's why I haven't wanted to look at myself this whole time. It's why I've been recording just walking. I could absolutely have you looking at me. You saw what I looked like at the start of the video, but it's like, while part of this is for me, and while it is to help me get better and feel better and do better, that's also for you. This walk, this trail, there's people that can't come to this, that will never make it to this. So I guess I'm really sorry that I didn't do the entire trail. I will try to do better. I will be working on this and trying to bit by bit keep myself as healthy about it as I can, but I mean, I can only do what I can do. And if this channel takes off and we can make some money off of it so that we can go places and do things, then I'm all for it. I'm down. I know anybody out there would love to do, be a famous YouTuber, but I don't know. I don't really have anything to lose. I don't work right now. I don't bring any money to the house. My wife is holding it all down, doing a fucking killer job taking care of me. So it's just one of those things. If I could sustain this on its own a little bit by itself, then hell yeah, let's do that. Just so, it justifies itself. And it shows me that there's a real growth. It shows me that there's a real thing to this, that maybe we can get a community going where people do really care about one another and people, really do want to look out for each other and we care. And, you might be sitting there considering giving up. Don't give up. Do not give up. Please don't give up. I'm trying so hard not to give up. Like, most of the time when I'm thinking about how bad I don't want to fight any of this stuff, all I can really come back to is how easy a right-hander off a bridge would solve a lot of my shit, or how that, like, glorious one-time lead flavor would taste. And it's like, I'm not giving up. And so I don't want any of you to give up either. I need every one of you to be as strong as you can be, because that's just what it takes. That's just what it takes. You have to be stronger than the things trying to hurt you in order to hurt them back. And the only way to hurt cancer is to not let it win, to get rid of it, to beat it, to eradicate it from your body. You can't do that if you give up. Same thing with lymphedema. You might be real far along and you might have let it get out of hand. But listen, wiggle your toes, flex your ankles, roll your ankle around and use your calf muscles. Even just laying there barely moving your stuff will start to help you. It might take weeks. It might take months. Shit, you might be bad enough off that it's going to take years. But I'm here to tell you, if we get this following going, you can feed off of our energy. I know it sounds dumb, but no. How I feed off the energy of a group, and I was at Never Done Projects, had worked out all day, had done everything that we needed to do, was tired as hell, but the moment we stopped and started chatting and hanging out, I was a light bulb all over again. I was bright as hell, energetic, shiny, just making the conversation go. And it was funny because Randy Sr. absolutely, or maybe it was Randy the second. I'm not actually sure. I have to ask, because I think little Randy is a junior, but I may be wrong. He may actually be the third, because they call him R3 in the chat. And then, so I guess it's, I'm going to call him Senior for the video because he's little Randy's dad. But Randy Senior at fucking 10 o'clock at night was like, damn boy, how in the hell are you ramped up like this? I'm ready to die. It was just funny because I really do feed off of the energy of being around people. You know, the conversation really gets me going, and I'll start having a lot more fun. I'll be more entertaining. I'll have a lot more witty banter to fire off and stuff, and it'll be a good time. And I know this video's been boring and lackluster because it's only a little less than an hour long, and here's the thing. I just did an hour's worth of walk. I'm only required or recommended to do 10 to 15 minutes, which means you're only recommended to do 10 or 15 minutes. So think about how quick and easy this just went, just chatting. I don't feel bad. I mean, like I said, my calves are a little tight, but I think that's because my muscles are wore out from all the walking I've done, not necessarily the sweating or swelling, because I'm feeling that same feeling in my left calf now. And I know for a fact that my left calf is not having a swelling issue at all. So I'm pretty sure I'm just worn out and not realizing it. But I want everybody to have a place to be. I want everybody to have friends. I don't want anybody to be alone. You know, the isolation of this for me has been horrific. I have struggled and struggled and struggled. And, you know, I know what it's like. So come be a part of this. Come subscribe up, comment down below. Like I said, tell me about yourself. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you're sick with, if you're sick. Shit, man, you can talk to me about your family life if you want. I don't care. Just come be a part of it. You see it yet? Yeah, there's the truck. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. I know we're at 53 minutes. I was going to try and go for the whole, well, you know what? I'm not going to cut it here. I'm going to keep going. I don't want to keep walking in circles, or talking in circles rather, because you get the point. Everybody deserves somewhere to be, and that's what I want to be. I want to be that place. I want you to like your life again. So I'll do the whole hour. We'll get the full deal. Man, I can't wait. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna feel great sitting down. There's a little deer stand over there, and I'm not sure why, because all of this is federal. Or no, it's all state park. It's all state park, because it's in the name, Merchant Mill Pond State Park. I'm not sure why that blind is there. I'm not sure what they use it for. It looks like it ain't been touched in a long time. Panels are falling off of it. The blind that they put up at the top over the openings is pretty ratty. But unless they've got contracts to come and hunt state land, which I know from time to time the park rangers will do that. They'll use trail cams to track the local wildlife and kind of try to figure out if things are getting out of control or not. And if they are getting out of control, the park rangers will actually start handing out tags to different hunters. And sometimes if it's a small enough tight-knit community, I've actually seen the park rangers call different hunters and be like, hey, we need the herd thinned out. Is there anything you can do for us? Normally, yeah, because they end up getting paid a little bit of money for each of the heads that they get. I think it's like $5 a doe to $10 a rack. No, you're not necessarily trying to go out there to kill for money, but the population can get pretty rough if it's not managed. And I know a lot of people aren't into stuff like that, but if you like not hitting deer while you're driving your car in the middle of nowhere, that is kind of the benefit that hunters give to the world. Yeah. Okay. We are in the truck. Okay. Well, as much as I want to keep it going all the way to the hour, I'm going to hop off here and chug some water. So, you guys, thank you so much for anybody that's come by. I want you to know that you were welcome to be a part of this. I want to hear about you. I want to know you existed. Thank you so much for your time. And please, think about yourself. You may not like things. You may not be able to tolerate things. But you deserve to have the same quality of life that anybody else has. And if that starts with just having friends that'll help build you up, then bring it on. I know that there's people out there that aren't curable. They're bad enough off that they're never going to overcome this, but that's where you folks come hang out. Try to take your mind off of it. I don't want you sitting at home thinking about how bad life is. I want you sitting at home talking to people on the internet, using this place as a way to get away from everything. But on that note, everybody, again, thank you. Consider subscribing. All we need is 50 subscribers, and then I'll be able to bump this up to live streams, and then we'll be able to actively chat with one another. So, help me get there, and I'll hopefully help you get motivated to want to do stuff different. I love y'all. Even if I don't know you, I still care about you. Please, don't give up. Until the next time, so long.